What's up, YouTube? Billy back here with Broship of the Nerds, and today I'm going to be showing you a wide assortment of figures, some non-figures. They're all wrestling related. Um, this is probably the most random assortment I've ever had, represented by three different wrestling companies, some existing, some non-existing. Uh, I will say most of my figures are loose, but now that I'm getting older, I'm keeping them in packages, and I have a very small sealed collection, I'll call it. Most of my figures are unsealed or loose. Now that like I said, I plan on starting to collect more figures, and my friend Jack actually is the one who has gotten me back into figure collecting. I'm also getting any R.L. Stine books I can find. Fear Street being the priority, but I'm not going to say no to Goosebumps either. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to start with some figures and some of the stories behind them. So when I was a kid, I always thought the Ministry of Darkness was really cool, but they just weren't around very long, right? So today I'm showing you my Viscera. Viscera is the start of this collection. I got him, I believe, through Ringside Collectibles, and he has since passed away. But I always thought he would have been a good champion when he was Mabel. Like you see here, he was the hardcore champion. Later, he was in ECW as he got older, and I've seen him live as Big Daddy V. But Viscera was a very good wrestler, and for a big man, he could do a lot of cool stuff. I always felt like he was underutilized. It says here he was the hardcore champion, the tag team champion, and the 1995 King of the Ring winner. 487 pounds, 6'9" from Harlem, New York. This is a very good figure. It is an elite, and I think the detail here is awesome. They even have the eyes down, and you can even change his hands to the Big Daddy V hands, where he did this, and then he would chop them like that too. But yeah, this was the hardcore edition, championship edition of Viscera, and it's a very good figure. One of my favorites that I have. Not my favorite, I will be showing you that later, but one of my favorites. I might even have a few sealed figures that I haven't been able to pull out. This one is another good one, Bianca Belair. When she won the Women's Royal Rumble, I just had to have this figure. Uh, She has the punches, the kind of halfway open hands, and then the full on chop. And then she has her vintage long ponytail and sunglasses. And I kept this one in the package because this is just a great figure. Knoxville, Tennessee, the EST of WWE. She won the Women's Royal Rumble in 2021 from the number 3 position. And her and Sasha headlined night 1 of WrestleMania. That will make a case this was the best match of the entire WrestleMania show last year, was between Belair and Sasha Banks. It won some awards, the ESPYs, I believe, on ESPN. But this was a good match, a very good figure, and honestly, one of the better figures I would say that they've done for the elites. I had to have that one, so I got that one on Ringside Collectibles too. I believe I waited until I had a big enough order for stuff. Okay, next up is Bayley. By far one of the best wrestlers and most underappreciated. Her and Sasha, you can go back and watch their fantastic NXT matches, the Iron Woman and just the regular match they had. So good. In that match, of course, Sasha was a heel and Bayley was a face. Bayley doing the best work of her career with this new character, and I absolutely adore her. She's such a good wrestler, and I feel like that she can work with about anybody and pull out a good match. So I highly respect her. Very good figure. This is one I actually want to get signed at some point, so I'm definitely keeping this in case there's ever like a convention. I still collect the figures. I don't watch WWE anymore, but I'll still go and do like meet and greets or something just to meet some of these people. I respect a lot of those superstars they have, just not the way they do things. So disclosure there. I don't have a big problem with anybody personally. I also will say I do have an elite Sasha Banks somewhere. I just couldn't find her today, but she's actually my favorite figure. So I'll find that in a future video for you. Next up, Adam Cole, baby. While he was with NXT, I found this figure at a store where I primarily go for Magic the Gathering, but they just so happen to have some WWE figures. They have some in the Ziploc bags, some Lucy's, and then they also have the ones in the package. This is when he was North American champion, and it's a very well made figure. It has him with his uh, tongue hanging out and the Adam Cole baby salutes, but he also comes with two other sets of hands. This was a very good set. In this set was also John Cena, Jeff Hardy, Drew McIntyre, Nikki Bella, and the old school Big Show from whenever he first came in. So a very good figure. I would say if you like Seal, this is one that you might have a hard time finding, but it is a good figure. So I didn't have to spend a ridiculous amount of money. I think it was like $10. Next up is my favorite NXT wrestler, Dakota Kai. Now I'll be honest with you, the details are not perfect, but because this was, I believe, the first figure of her they released. I'm hoping that one day they make an elite because she is my favorite. I kind of wish they would have had the older figure of her when she had more color in her outfit because it was just really cool from the Mae Young Classic. That's where we got introduced to her, and she made it pretty far into the tournament. I always felt like she was underrated and underappreciated because she can do a lot of good work in the ring. I'm hoping that she soon gets to be on the Raw or SmackDown because she deserves a lot more TV time than what she gets. And she is by far my favorite NXT woman, and probably between her, Sasha, and Bayley for my top three female wrestlers, and then Bianca being up there as well. So there's a lot of good female talent in WWE. Another figure I hope to get someday is Io Shirai. I think I almost bought her, maybe I did. There's some figures somewhere I can't find, so I'm sure. I know I for sure have Sasha, but I'll look around and do some more digging, guys. But this is Dakota Kai. I'll give it like a 6 out of 10. Like I said, the detail's not very good, but it is a first figure of her. They even have the leg brace, so that kind of adds to that. But first figure, I appreciate that they made one, just because she is someone who I think deserves a little more recognition. And then there's a story behind this figure. So my friend and I got into an argument, and he broke a couple of my favorite figures, so I had to rebuy it as an adult. It was only $5. But Randy Orton, the first figure of his, and it was one of my favorites. I always made him win a lot because when he first came in by himself before the Evolution days, I thought he had and still has the best drop kick, or one of the best drop kicks in the business. And I just thought he had a lot of potential. He comes with the trash can, and in this set, there was actually Brock Lesnar, which I have that one, but it got like pin on it. Chavo Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Eric Bischoff, John Cena when he was early too. Now Eric Bischoff, I do have that edition loose collection. I have a different Rey Mysterio and a different Chavo than what's pictured here, but I would love to bump into some of these sets, and that's on the back there with all their pictures, by the way, so you can see they used to show multiple sets that you could get back in the day. So this is a good figure for an early edition. This was when Ruthless Aggression was around, and I would argue after the Attitude Era, this was still a pretty good era because you started seeing Cena and Edge step up, and Orton and Brock and Rey. I mean, you had a lot of good superstars. Kurt Angle, The Rock was getting ready to be out of the WWE. Jericho was doing big things. RVD was starting to get a little bit of a push. So this would have been about 2002. So very good time to be a wrestling fan, especially if you were a figure fan back then. I know I have quite a few figures still from that era. I just have more loose than I do sealed. And then I have 5 more things to show you. My boy Jack, when he knows you're into something, he takes care of you. And he's the one that's inspired me to get back into figures because he got me 3 figures that I did not have from AEW, and I plan on getting more AEW figures. And these figures are just great. So first, we have the AEW Championship Edition of Mr. John Moxley. This is a very good figure, very detailed. It looks like him, and you know, Moxley has that intensity and everything. The sticker actually says Matt Hardy, AEW Unrivaled 4, which is kind of funny that they have a Matt Hardy sticker. Oh, he put it in that bag. Okay, I see. But this is a John Moxley figure, and I would say it's probably one of the better ones I've seen in a while. Just AEW really does have good action figures. In this set was also Scorpio Sky, Frankie Kazarian, Hangman Adam Page, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy, which I would like to get my hands on. Jungle Boy, Ty Conti, Darby Allin. Eventually, when they make a CM Punk figure, I would like to get him as well. My next one Also for my boy Jack is Riho. Now Riho is a small women's wrestler, but you can't underestimate her size. She has a lot of skill. And also in this set, you have Pac, Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. This is the Women's Championship edition of her, and she comes with two other sets of hands for different poses. And this one, she's kind of pointing. And it's also a solid figure. It actually captures like her smiling and stuff. Like she's normally a pretty cheerful but also intense wrestler. And I think she's sometimes underappreciated. But this is Riho, and it's a good figure. All right, 3 more to go, guys. This next one is the Hangman Adam Page, our current champion. This was before he was champion. This is a very good figure with the bandana. I just thought it stood out. And it also came with the same set as Moxley that I talked about earlier. So, very good addition of Hangman Adam Page with his drinking tankard there. And I think he's very talented. We're just now starting to see what he can do as far as wrestling goes. And then 2 more oddities I have. These are not something I collected a lot of, but I have a couple still packaged. This is a Percy Saturn street rods, limited edition, one of 4,998. So there's only a little bit less than 5,000 of these. It lists he was 6'2", 274 pounds, and the Rings of Saturn was a signature move. Now WCW actually had different divisions, and they took care of him. When he came over to WWE, he wasn't used very well, and he had a love relationship with Moppy. This originally was $20 at a Kmart in 1998, and it's item number 3350, and it's still in the package where the big boys play, WCW. I really enjoy this one. It just looks really cool with the hood that pops up. Of course, your older cars, your engine would have been in the back, but I don't think, yeah, this isn't that old, so engine would have been in the front at that point. My favorite car I have all the way from WCW, once again, 4,998. There's a serial number printed on the chassis, which I didn't know. That's cool to know. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, very good powerhouse. He was 6'2", 273 pounds. Him and Bret Hart, when they were a team, obviously, he was the powerhouse. Bret was the technician. But this is this is just a unique, cool vehicle, and I really enjoy it. Item number 3350. It was once again $20 in 1998. So this is an older car. It has some dust on it because it's been sitting for a long time, but it's also in mint condition because it's still packaged and it's never been opened. WCW NWO Starcade on it on the back. You can't really see that very well because of the dust, but there is Starcade on the top of the box as well. So yeah, those are my sealed collection. Once again, it's very small. And like I said, I know I have an Elite Sasha Banks because I have an open basic figure, but I kept Elite sealed because I wanted to get it signed because Sasha's my favorite wrestler. So at some point when I find her again, I will be showing that on the channel. And any more sealed figures I may find hidden away somewhere. And I also have figures that are non-wrestling that I will show you sometime, including Geralt of Rivia. So stay tuned for that. I hope you're doing well. Stay warm, stay safe, and have fun.